All right, welcome to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about?
With Rhea.
All right, we are with Rhea. This is episode 2, actually, of Is Disney a Cult? So we did another podcast previously regarding the same subject. I, a lot of times, get a little screwed up and go off base, wouldn't you say, Rhea?
Yes.
So she is going to reel me in a lot more on this one. And if you're interested in hearing the first episode, I'm going to be posting that first. It's going to be called Is Disney a Cult, obviously. Episode 1. And this will be episode 2. We're going to get a lot more in depth regarding that subject. So, all right, you can start it off then. You ready?
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think on the first one, what I wanted to get across is that there are a lot of people that go overboard, I think, with Disney, where it becomes so consuming, where they live, breathe. I mean, these people are constantly at the parks, you know, they dress the part, they live it. And I have been enjoying going to the parks, and I think that there are some things that we as a family have become obsessed with, but I think that it truly is and can become cult-like status for some people.
Do you think you were kind of drinking the Kool-Aid, as they would say, or you were doing, like, you caught yourself because you were kind of doing that once you got annual passes?
No, I don't think so. I think anyone can get caught up in the magic of it.
Right.
Because you want to wear the mouse ears, right? You want to wear a t-shirt or something. You know, you want to have, you know, take part in the souvenirs or, you know, even the popcorn bucket or something like that, right? I do think that is normal. What I think just experiencing it, following some of these Facebook pages with these people, it really is truly an obsession of theirs, you know, where it is day in and day out with everything that's Disney. And it's really kind of interesting, and people get very sensitive about it. I think the funniest post was this, and I don't know what it's right or not, like the debate over, you know, the castle in Magic Kingdom. You know, people calling it, well, it was Cinderella's castle. Well, no, it wasn't. And now, you know, it's all Elsa. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Or people getting upset that people call Magic Kingdom Disney World when it's Magic Kingdom or stuff like that. I mean, you know, highly oversensitive. But I will say...
That's to prove their value or their worth.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
And I think that, you know, it really can be... you know, I guess also it's become even more expensive. They just raised prices for annual passes. So the pass that we have, which is the one step below all of the 6 parks.
Correct. When she says that, she means water parks.
The water parks, yeah.
Go ahead. They may not know that.
They went up $150. Holy cow. So you know, remember you were asking me, and I couldn't remember how much the annual pass we purchased was. It was $750, $749 to be exact. If you were to buy it now,
yes, it
is $899.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a lot. And then there was someone on one of those Facebook pages where they actually calculated out that they would have to go 12 to 14 times in order to get their money's worth.
Correct.
Now, these are people that do not live locally. So I think there's, you know, a difference, because we were talking about that on the last podcast, where not all Disney obsessed have to live in Orlando. Right. I think there's, you know, there can be a little difference, but I mean, these are people that plan their whole lives. Sure. You know, set countdown clocks to come, you know. Right. But I mean, I think it can be a fun thing, but then it can be a huge expense.
Yeah, not including obviously all the added expenses when you go buying accessories and food and whatnot.
And like we were talking about too last night about how there are people that will actually move their whole lives in order to be just closer to the park.
Well, I was talking to Joey about that today because one of his colleagues came in and he's been having a hard time selling in Orlando because that's where we live. So I told Joey, and he says, I just told him, I said, Joey, you should honestly, when people come to Orlando, start with, do you want to live in Disney? Like in the area.
Yeah.
Because he says after everything is said and done, they're like, I want schooling, or I want to be near, I wanted this price home, I want this. He usually ends up finding out, like, when everything is said and done, how close am I to Disney?
Right.
Right after they don't they all think because they're in Orlando, they're 15-minute drives.
No.
They're nowhere near that.
Well, that is so
Right?
true. Right. And I think, when people ask, where do you live in Orlando? I will say I am 10 minutes away from Universal. Right? Because for us, we are, really close to Universal, and we're about a 20 to 30 minute drive to the parks, to Disney.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize too, if you're downtown Orlando, Disney or Magic Kingdom is 28 miles from there.
Right.
So people think they're coming to Orlando, and you could be 25 miles, 35 miles.
It's the traffic too around here.
Yeah,
too.
and when people buy property, they think, oh, if I'm near Disney, my home will be worth a lot more money.
Right,
the
right.
reality is that's most likely not going to happen. But Disney, their area, or whatever you want to say, their 40, I don't know how big it is. There are homes near there, but it's not really an area. I can't say it's not an area to live. It's just, it's about the 4 parks and the water parks. It's not like there's a ton of homes there, if that makes sense.
Right.
And a lot of homes that are near there, they're very nice, but they're spread out, I should say. It's not like you live 5 minutes from Disney, most likely. No matter what, right?
Yeah.
Because the parks and everything is such a huge area. Lake Buena Vista.
Lake Buena Vista, yeah.
So I was going to say something to you that you confronted me yesterday regarding the cult status and how I obviously probably fell for it as well. But what I think is interesting now with Disney is how they kind of sucker people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Is so I've been living here. If you didn't hear our first podcast, basically coming here since I was 4 years old. I moved here at 18 officially, but I was coming here for summers at 16. But I've realized, especially the last few years, because my kids for the last 20 years were all, annual pass members. There was always kind of something going on. A new movie coming out relatively, maybe a little small thing at the park. It could be High School Musicals, the new fad, even Universal, Harry Potter. But now I realize with Disney, they have so many things going on, including, like, say, Aladdin comes out. Or actually, say Toy Story, the new edition, comes out at the park. Then Toy Story, the movie. Aladdin. Now it's coming out with what? The
Lion King's coming out, too.
Lion King's coming out. What's the other snow one?
Frozen.
Frozen's
Madison was
coming
saying
out.
there's a second Frozen.
They're putting a Star Wars area in, correct?
Yeah.
They're constantly making... And what's with Avatar? Aren't they doing another thing at Animal Kingdom? Or am I screwing that up?
No, there's something else that's going on.
Right. There's so many things now going on between 4 parks. And then, all of a sudden, Star Wars will be kicking in November, roughly, I think, getting prepared for Christmas.
August.
Oh, the new one? I thought it came out at Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the movie. I was talking about the park. Okay.
Right, but that's a perfect example where they have all these things between television, film, and parks.
But
it's like self-promote. It's nonstop feeling like you're missing out on something.
Right, but I think it's a way to continue to market everything else, and that's where it's like, like, for instance, let me just, to what you're saying, it's like every time there's something new, there's something new at the park that goes along with it.
Correct.
So in Toy Story 4, you have the new magic bands. Then you have, or when any of the parks have any type of anniversary or something, there's, a new pass holder t-shirt, a new magic band, new ears, or this collection, that collection. And I think going back to the cult thing is that so many people are so obsessed to feel like they can't be without, that it's like, people are sending people to make sure that they're not missing out on something at these parks.
Right, and you have people like that Rhea knows and I know that send Rhea to the park to pick up things for her that they can't get either.
Right.
They're so obsessed with it.
Right.
Right.
And I will say this. I do get caught up in some things. I'm not going to lie. Madison and Harrison, they've gone to the park early for
daughter.
something. Yeah,
Right.
the kids have gone early for something. I have too. Or, I will go searching in Magic Kingdom for, a cup or something. And I think that that's where, you borderline, does it become a cult because it consumes you? And I don't know what it is, but it is the fear of missing out on something. It's funny.
You have to realize, though, too, when we're talking to most people on this podcast, they don't live in Orlando.
Right.
They don't understand. It's almost a form of a religion, right?
Oh, for goodness, yeah.
I went through that so I had annual passes for X amount of years, which I talked about in the other podcast, to Universal, Disney, Wet and Wild. That was the core of ours. And what happened with me, like, Rhea was calling me out on it. Like, it's almost like, I'll say one thing. One year, my daughter said, we were talking about how many times did we go to Disney? And I said, well, we probably go like 20, 30 times. Can you believe that? But my daughter, one of them, was keeping track on a calendar. She said, we went to like Magic Kingdom, not including the other 5 parks. Yeah. She says, not including Universal. I think we hit Magic Kingdom like 30-something times. I was in total shock because I didn't realize how much we were going to the park. Right? Because we'd mainly go to Magic Kingdom because my other daughter was obsessed with the mermaid and there was always something coming out. But what really got crazy was, Rhea mentioned this yesterday, one of my oldest daughter wanted to do a 4-park in one day thing. So we had to schedule it to make sure we could, it was, a lot of times you can schedule it where you could go very early in the morning, especially if you stay on a Disney property, hotel. So you can go in early, stay later, but it was one that opened at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and it was open till 2 in the morning. So me, my youngest daughter, and my ex-wife, we hit 3 parks. My oldest hit 4 parks in one day. But I was just thinking in my head, how Disney obsessed were we? I didn't even realize how I was engulfed in Disney myself because my daughters were engulfed in it. And I really wasn't that big of a Disney fan. And Rhea also said, like, I was taking my kids out of school certain days if there was events, picking them up early. Some days we would stay at the parks too late, even on a Sunday. I wouldn't even get up. We would sleep in the next day.
Yeah.
Right?
It was when people also started mentioning to me, they wouldn't even ask me what I was going to be doing over the weekend. They would say, oh, I'm sure you're going to the parks. And then they would say to me, oh, but I love seeing all your photos. And then I would mark on my calendar, and there were a couple weeks during the springtime where we would go twice a week.
Right.
Because we'd hit a concert on Monday nights at Epcot. Maybe there was another one on Thursday, and maybe even Saturday or Sunday. So there's 2 to 3 times. We were going to the park, but now that it's like going to be 111-degree heat index tomorrow, there's no way.
Right.
Like Sunday, there was no way I would have gone to the park. It was too hot. But, I do think that there comes, I think you start to, yes, drink the Kool-Aid, and some people just stay in it. And then I guess the kids actually met someone who has been a pass holder, for, so many years. It was crazy. And, he knew every nook and cranny of every park, because he was at the parks every day. And, that's where I think that people do become obsessed. I think it becomes obsessed. It starts to become your life, your lifestyle.
That was absolutely what happened to me. And not only that, we were not only living in Orlando, we started to revolve our vacations around staying. So I would go stay at the Yacht and Beach Club, hypothetically. We've stayed at both. Grand Floridian for 5 days. Like, I'd go spend $3,000 on staying at a hotel on property for them to have the ultimate experience.
Yeah.
We stayed in all of them, I think, except the Wilderness. And we've even done timeshares there. And I was like, how much money am I spending per year on doing this? But I will admit, my kids love that. But at the same time, I was talking to my older daughter today about Disney. I was telling them about Rhea and her kids becoming annual,
Pass holders.
And what she said reminded me of what I grew up with religion. And I was exhausted from religion because a lot of my life revolved around religion with my mother. Not to dig on her, but I talked to her and she goes, you know what? because she ended up having 2 younger brothers. So then they got year pass. So she hasn't stopped basically since she's about 1 year old going to Disney and Universal. She's like, I can't even look at those places anymore. I don't want to ever go to Disney. I don't want to go to Universal. I don't even want to experience any of that like right now. And I was like, wow, that's like, did I burn her out? Did she burn herself out? Like to feel that way. Anyways, I just thought I would throw that in there, but
yeah.
It's right. I don't like that's somebody who went so far.
But there are those people that continue.
So, yeah, she's right.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the point. Like, is you know what I mean? That's how extreme it was. Maybe we were too extreme with her, and we didn't realize it after a while. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you may. You know, I tell Rhea that too. A lot of times too, if you look at the first year when you become a ticket, you're always a pass holder. You're going all the time, and then as time goes on, obviously you lessen. Or I think it goes the other way, and that's what we're talking about. People become more and more obsessed, right? They start doing more and more, and they start going. I mean, especially grown-ups. How many times did we see these people go to Epcot? We were just talking about that.
Well, and during the festival, the Flower and Garden, I did schedule around the concerts that I did want to go see. So I think that is one thing that I did. And, looking forward to the Food and Wine, I think I will probably do the same. But I think those are exceptions where, you do have to do some planning. But the resorts, I have no interest in. And I've stayed at some of them. But, for me, we live so close, we can go for 2 or 3 hours and call it a day. So I don't, for me, you can still drop the ropes, meaning you basically open the park, because I did it with my best friend a couple years ago where we were there, first thing in the morning and closing it at night.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah, and we did that. So, but I do think it is very true that some of the people that may work there or constantly go, it does become an obsession as with anything. So, and I think that one thing too, though, is we are pretty fortunate to be so close. I think it's good in doses. We've had the Universal for a while, and there's constantly new things there too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it keeps people going and coming back. So, but I do think that, Disney is definitely a cult of sorts. I really do.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
And Rhea, like, a lot of people or friends or family members, their kids want to come to Orlando and work at Disney, and they do those programs, right?
Right. Yeah, we've had friends who've done that.
So I think Disney has so many things going for them, like, hey, come work with us. It's really incredible for their resume.
Right.
And a lot of people don't live in Florida. So they do come here. What is it, for a 6 or a 1 year program, or is it longer?
I think it varies.
It varies, right? But people come here, and usually from what I've noticed, the kids that come here, they love Disney. But it seemed like their parents were the ones who were obsessed with Disney that kind of programmed their kids to love Disney, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, and I think you can still love Disney without having to love the parks. I don't think it necessarily has to go hand in hand, because, Harrison, my son, for example, he was all Buzz Lightyear growing up, but when we first took him to the park, and he must have been maybe 5, he rode the one ride, and he was like, "I'm done, let's go." And and that was it. It wasn't like he needed to continue to go, so I don't think that Disney necessarily has to be an obsession with the parks. I think it is truly, it becomes a lifestyle for a lot of people. So, anyway.
My kids were like that too. They got so spoiled and used to going to Disney. A lot of times in the summers we'd hit water parks, then go to one of the parks, whichever one it was. And then sometimes I'd go to the park first and not go to the water park. But we'd pull into the parking lot and they'd look and they go, "No, forget it today. Let's go see a movie. Forget Disney. Let's go to, Wet n Wild, or forget." And you just kind of, I was thinking at one time, how spoiled are my kids? Like, but Like, do they even enjoy this anymore? Or does it
But
have that?
I don't think it became a cult for them. You know,
No,
yeah, I think that
didn't.
you there's certain things that you can be obsessed with, but those people that are truly cult status, no joke, I mean, are full on obsessed and know every trivia piece and, you know, information about Walt, this, that, you know, both parks, Disneyland versus Disney World, movies. I mean, it is just part of their vernacular because it is what is coming in and out of them. So anyway.
Yeah, I think that happened with me with holidays. I'll just give you a heads up. Me and Rhea talk about this. Like, I don't know how it is there, but anymore because I haven't had I've only had Universal for the most part. But like Super Bowl Sundays are great days to go. That we used to go. Which Mother's Day is a great day to kind of go. It's not as busy. But I remember at one time I had to do almost every holiday there. Because even if my mother came to town, I'm like, Mom, I got to take you to Disney World to see the snow on Christmas Eve, right? Then we got to go Christmas Day too. Before you know it, let's go Thanksgiving. And I started revolving Easter, every holiday around. It was like church, Disney, right? It was just because, and then if we didn't go on a holiday, I felt like in Florida, as a lot of people know, sometimes if you're from up north, you don't feel like it's a real holiday, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But we'd always... I started to get so obsessed, I think, with Disney and doing things with my kids that I'd even go just us three on holidays. I'd leave everyone. Or like Super Bowl Sunday, I knew it was a dead day. I'd record the game, watch it. I won't even go see friends. I'd be like, no. That's the day we're going to hit Universal, or that's the day we're going to hit Disney. Before you know it was just all Disney. So I guess I was a part of a cult. You kind of called me out on that yesterday. And so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So that's it. Anything else regarding that?
No, that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rhea's been buying me all these different toys. They're my favorite.
Slink.
I love Slink. I don't know if you heard our first podcast. We were at downtown or Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. We went and saw Toy Story. She got an early premiere. And what's the next movie coming on? Disney. Would you say Lion King?
Lion King.
And we didn't see.
I haven't seen Aladdin. I'll be honest. I'm not. I can't see what's his name as Aladdin. Or
Will
not
Smith.
Aladdin, Will Smith is the genie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you did like Beauty and the Beast. That was really good.
I'm looking forward to Lion King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully Disney won't get too mad at us, right?
No, I mean, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Right? So.
No, when I used to take my friends, I never applied at Disney, but they used to have a casting center, and you'd go inside there, and I took my cousin before, and I took someone else when I was younger. It's an amazing place to go inside there because they have videos running of the history of, from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Well, they used to. So, I waited for them to fill out resumes because you could go in there and they'll tell you immediately, at least back then, what job openings were available from all the hotels to all the parks. Mm-hmm. And then you'd get interviewed. So, I'd sit there for an hour or two back then. And they have all it's just amazing, some of them things. Mm. So, a lot of things you get to experience when you live in Orlando, Florida, regarding Disney. Nothing's like it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so,
of course.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up there unless Rhea's got anything else.
I got nothing.
All righty. Thanks for tuning in to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about with?
Rhea.
Yeah. You can also check out Rhea at Instagram, or on Instagram. What is it, Rhea?
Rhea Loeks.
There it is. LOEKS. There it is. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as well. I just posted some new videos on YouTube. So if you get a chance, check them out. It has nothing to do with Disney. It's all about fitness. So
yeah, right.
I don't even know why I threw that in there. But, we're going to wrap it up there. Take care. And if you're traveling, safe travels.